on that field today, ask yourself this question.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! And let's go to that! And let's go to that!
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like.
Football is getting hit. That's it.
It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready? And let's go to that. And let's go to that.
We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how like we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up your chin strap.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from them.
He's a man. He can be hit just like us. He's a man.
You already make the big money.
He's a man.
Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there.
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like.
Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world.
What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We ready? And let's go to that. And let's go to that. It's a wrap. Game over.
Nah, game is not over. It's just getting started right here on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. It's Winning Wednesday. Had to jump on real quick. A lot going on with, of course, Super Bowl 57, but a lot went on last night in the NBA. And let me just say, many people might not think that he is the GOAT, greatest of all time, but you got to admit, he is the NBA's new leading all-time scorer, and that is none other than the King. Are you down with the King? Talking about LeBron James. What a great night last night for him as he surpassed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's 39-year-old record. Many people thought would never be broken. LeBron James did it. He is now on top of the heap. In fact, going into last night, he only needed 16 points, and he needed more than that. But anyway, going into last night, he was behind the old record of 38,387 points. He finished with 38,390 points. And again, LeBron James got it done. So congratulations to him. Congratulations to his family. Congratulations to the Lakers organization. How long are they going to own that record, that scoring title, that all time? So anyway, Magic Johnson said it best. It meant a lot to him. It meant a lot to Kareem. It meant a lot to the organization for LeBron to get it done in the purple and gold. So, man, now they lost the game. They lost the game by 3 to Oklahoma City. But again, the night belonged to the King. The night belonged to a kid from Akron. So, I know normally at the end of the show during Black History Month, I honor a Black history, person or event, what have you. Last night, Black history was made. All history was made. That's why I keep trying to tell people, if you do history right, then we wouldn't have to have Black History Month, because so many people do it wrong, as we see with the governor, if that's what you want to call him, down there in Florida, trying to dictate what is and what is not relevant to history. Yeah, no. Last night, Black history was made, and all history has been changed. So anyway, there we go. All right, let me get into it real quick. All eyes are on Glendale, Arizona for Super Bowl 57. The Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Kansas City Chiefs, led by 2 historic Black quarterbacks. I am telling you right now, I'm not going to let that go, because A, it's never been done. First time 2 Black quarterbacks face each other in the Super Bowl. And B, it is a time to end a narrative that should have been ended and never should have started in the first place. and that is a certain style of black quarterback can't win a Super Bowl. I am looking forward to being able to talk about it if Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles can win Super Bowl 57, because everybody wants to relegate him to a running quarterback or a running back playing quarterback who literally feel like he does not have what it takes to play from the pocket. Now, he's already disproven that on every level, high school, college, and definitely in the NFL. Have you checked his one-loss record this year? Have you checked that? Because it is the best in the NFL and has a chance to be one of the highest in NFL history. Of course, Tom Brady and them went undefeated in the regular season. They couldn't get it done in the Super Bowl. Bob Greasy, his team went all the way undefeated through the Super Bowl. And then Cam Newton had a big run where they only lost one game, unfortunately lost the Super Bowl. There are a few other quarterbacks who've had a season like Jalen Hurts. So if they are able to pull that off and win it, I want to see and hear the yeah buts. Yeah, but, he still can't da-da-da-da-da. He still can't da-da-da-da-da. No matter what the yeah buts are, they will have to say, yeah, but he is the Super Bowl champ of, 2023. That's what they'll have to say. So I'm looking forward to that narrative. Well, AJ, why are you trying to make it all about race? Because y'all do. And I'm just mirroring and correcting the crap that's being put out there about a young man who has done nothing but excel on every single level. Nothing but excel. Never been in trouble. No, and I shouldn't even have to say that, man. I shouldn't even have to say that about him never being in trouble, about him being a great young man, smart. He's never had any problems in school. I shouldn't have to say those things. It's just ignorant that in 2023 we have to differentiate that for certain players, certain types of athletes. But let me just tell you, Jalen Hurts is one of the best guys to walk the planet of this earth, and I'm rooting for him. Not that I'm rooting against Patrick Mahomes, not that I'm rooting against Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy and all the members of the Kansas City Chiefs. One of my favorite towns, man. I swear they have the best barbecue in the United States of America, bar none. Now, there's some other good spots around the country, but Kansas City as a whole, as a city, to me, has the best barbecue. So I'm not knocking them. Got family there. Not knocking them. What I'm saying is this will really change history when and if Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles can get the job done. Now, one of the other interesting things happening is the matchup. You got one of the best defenses left in the playoffs against one of the best offenses left in the playoffs, and we are in for a treat. I was a guest on a show called The Perspective last night, and I got to thank Brother Barnes, JB. Also got to thank Big Phil and Joe Cardozo of Nuts and Bolts Sports for allowing me to have the opportunity to be on the show. But we talked about that matchup. We talked about what both teams are going to have to do in order to pull out a win. And we talked about the fact that it could get out of hand for one team if another team is able to impose their will like they've done earlier in the playoffs. So I'll talk about all that briefly because it's a fast break edition of the Lunch Break Winning Wednesday, powered by JM&E. So we'll get to it all after this break. Y'all stay there. We'll be right back right after this.
Of course, Steph Curry, Tim Anderson, Jordan Alvarez.
And it's caught! Deebo Samuel with the catch. Michael Jordan consents.
The throw just got the king.
BS3 Network.
The hottest of hot takes. The coldest of cold hard facts. This is Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. Weekdays at 8 a.m. Eastern. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
That's why we here on this platform.
Marriage. A loving splendor, a daily grind. Such is the case when Damien and Jamie get together and chop it up, for marriage is real.
let's just lay it all out here. Let's just be real with it.
Join this wonderful couple who keeps it real and always in love. BS3 Network proudly presents Marriage is Real, where love is the only thing that matters. Live every Tuesday at 8:30 Central. Oh, and Jamie has something to say.
Deuces and trays.
All right. Great show. Another part of the family at BS3. Marriage is Real. Also, Snowman in the Morning. You got to check them out. All you got to do is, if you have a Roku streaming device, just download BS3 TV. That's BS3 TV from your Roku streaming device, and you got access to all the great programming on the network. If you don't have a Roku streaming device, get one. But you can go online to bs3network.com. That's bs3network.com. All right. All right. Let's get back to it now. We're talking about the matchup between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles coming up. Kansas City comes into this game with the number one offense against the number 3 defense. Number 1 offense versus the number 3 defense. So let me tell you, that's where the rubber hits the road. That's where there's going to be some stationary object and some friction trying to move it. So we'll see where that one goes. But now remember, Patrick Mahomes will be healthier, but he will not be healthy. There's a difference. He'll be healthier than he was a couple of weeks ago, but he will not be fully 100% with that high ankle sprain. And he is going up against a Philadelphia Eagles defense that can get to him with their front four. With their front four, they can put enough pressure on him to make him move. And they got a couple of pass rushers on the edge that can really get beyond some blocking and some blockers. I'll just put it like this. San Francisco learned the hard way that you can't block all those guys with tight ends and running backs. They will get abused. You better find a way to pull some of those big uglies, as John Madden liked to call them, pull those big uglies, those big linemen, and let them help out on those ends. But you got to seal up that middle too, because Philadelphia can get it done with their front four. And that's what Kansas City's got to figure out. They're not going to be able to block everybody with just anybody. And if they try to, they literally could experience what happened to San Francisco. I'm not calling for anybody to get hurt, but your quarterback could get banged up a lot by that Philadelphia front line, that defensive front line, because man, they know how to get after it without having to do a lot of exotic blitzes and what have you. So that's number 1. Number 2 is the running game for Kansas City. Are they going to be able to run the ball effectively enough against the Philadelphia defense to cause them to kind of slow it down, and not just lay their ears back and come after Kansas City? If they can do that, then that will balance the field. That'll give us the kind of game that we're hoping to see in this Super Bowl. So there's that. The secondary for Philadelphia, man, I tell you what, there are a lot of weapons offensively for Patrick Mahomes to throw to, but that secondary for Philadelphia is something to deal with. They're going to have to manage that. They're going to have to, find somebody that they can pick on, because they can't just throw it all around the field. They got some dudes that will make it happen. So it's going to be interesting when you got the number 1 offense against the number 2 defense. In fact, Kansas City, the number 1 passing offense, and they are the number 20 rushing offense. So, they're going to have to be able to run the ball. They're going to have to be able to run the ball, and they're going to have to be able to run it effectively, and they're going to have to be able to stick to the run. I know Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid are some of the best play callers in the game today, but they're going to have to figure it out. They're going to have to figure it out, because if not, that defense is going to tee off, and it's going to make it a long night for Kansas City. All right, so that's my take on that side of the ball. Let me take another break. I'll come back to the other side of the ball, because that's where it gets interesting for me. All right, hey, listen, it's the lunch break. It's Winning Wednesday. We're powered by JM&E. and we're streaming live on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3 TV.
What do you get when you watch or listen to the Life Happens podcast? Well, I'll let them tell you.
Kim and I are both ministers of the gospel, and what Life Happens podcast is a beautiful balance by simply taking our spirituality with real life and merging it together to create a beautiful balance. And that's what we do.
BS3 Network proudly presents Life Happens podcast, where Christianity and life intersect. Live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central. If you're looking for a sports program that gives you the flavor.
Washington Commanders? Really?
This whole thing stinks to high heaven.
That pulls no punches.
Thuggish act by a thuggish actor.
That gives you some humor.
Praise everything LeBron does and never criticize it.
If you want a show that gives you good times, then this is that show. BS3 Network proudly presents.
I am Cole Johnson, and welcome to
Cole Sports with a Z. Every Friday on Patreon and every Saturday on YouTube, Spreaker, and all other outlets.
All right, y'all, back here on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3. And I mean, two more great shows that you can experience when you download BS3 TV on your Roku streaming device. All right, let me get to it. All right, we just talked about Kansas City needing to run the ball and Kansas City needing to lock up that defensive front four. They can get enough pass rush on the quarterback with four. They'll have to do a lot of exotic blitz with the linebackers. Now, they do that sometimes, but they don't have to. They don't have to lock into that all game long. So Kansas City got to lock that up and give their guy, Patrick Mahomes, time to cook. If they don't, it's going to be a long night. Now, on the other side of the ball, you got Philadelphia coming in with the number 2 offense against the number 12 defense. For Kansas City, it's number 1 offense against the number 3 defense. For Philadelphia, it's number 2 offense versus the number 12 defense. And that's why I think you got a little bit of exposure. Again, Jalen Hurts is healthier this week than he was 2 weeks ago. Not healthy, fully healthy. This time of year, nobody really is fully healthy if they played all year long. So now Jalen Hurts is healthier and can cause it to be literally 11 on 11 because you got to account for him in the offense. You cannot just think that you got 11 guys against Philadelphia's 10 because the quarterback is a non-factor. No. Jalen Hurts can really, really, really make things happen from that style of offense that they play. Typically, it's called the RPO, run pass option, where he is reading a select player, either a defensive end, outside linebacker. They're reading him, riding it in there with the running back. If the outside linebacker cracks down on the running back, then Hurts pulls it out and runs it himself, or pulls it out and throws it and catches the defense off guard. I've said this a long time. Just because teams run the RPO doesn't mean they know how to run the RPO. Philadelphia knows how to run the RPO, and nobody's better at it than Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts can put that ball in the running back's belly and ride it in there for a longer period of time than most quarterbacks go and process the information while he's doing that. So if he can make the front line, the defensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs, make them have to make a decision, and figure out quickly what they see, he's able to then pull it out and change the whole scenario. And that's what puts a ton of pressure on defenses against the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm going to go ahead and do it now. I owe Nick Sirianni an apology. Yeah, his opening press conference was one of the worst of all time, but clearly the man knows what he's doing, because you don't go, what are they, 14-2, 14-3? You don't go with a record like that this long if you don't know what you're doing. And he has them rolling. He has them rolling. So I say that to say Nick Sirianni is going to be able to make adjustments off of what Kansas City does. And Jalen Hurts knows exactly what he's supposed to do if he sees one thing happen versus something else. And again, Kansas City defense, Steve Spagnuolo better have a game plan in place for the adjustments to the adjustments, because that's what Philadelphia is going to be able to do. And then again, they've got wide receivers who can stretch the field. They've got wide receivers who can make plays, and you got a quarterback who can put it on them. I'm tired of hearing old talking points about Jalen Hurts not being able to do this, not being able to do that. Yes, he can run the ball, but he damn sure can throw it as well. And he can throw it accurately. Bill Polian was wrong about two players, Jalen Hurts, three players, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen up in Buffalo. So, y'all can keep calling him one of the greatest GMs of all time. The man, was in a great place at a great time with a quarterback named Peyton Manning. He's been wrong as hell ever since. So there we go. But anyway, and watch this. Philadelphia, number 2 all-time offense for this season. And they are 5th running the ball in the NFL and 9th passing. Kansas City, 1st overall offense. Their defense is 12th, and their rushing attack is 20th. Philadelphia is all single digits. Number 2 offense, number 3 defense, number 9 rush, number 5 pass. That tells me they're a more balanced team. And balanced teams are what I call methodical. They just do what they do, and they do it well. They do it aggressively. They do it violently. They do it physically. You don't have to question the physicality of the Philadelphia Eagles. So with them being able to run the ball effectively, that's going to open up more of the passing game. That's going to open up more of the RPO. That's going to open up more of the keeping the Kansas City defense back on their heels. And it could pose for a long night, because if the defense can get to Patrick Mahomes and make him uncomfortable and not give him time to extend plays and make plays, this one can get out of hand. Remember, so far, Philadelphia has scored 69 points in the playoffs and only allowed 14. 69 points and only allowed 14. It could get out of hand if Kansas City doesn't slow that defense down for Philadelphia. And again, if Philadelphia can get that RPO locked in and can get that thing just methodically matriculating down the field, it can be a interesting night. So I'm going to go ahead and make my pick. I'm going to go ahead and make my pick after this on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3 TV.
This is a BS3 Network presentation.
I want to show that attainability. I want to show the accessibility of this kind of lifestyle.
From social media to having conversations with friends and family, you always have to put on face and say face.
What brings a smile to my face is the one person that totally believes in me, and that's my beautiful wife, Jody.
I just had to stop because I didn't value myself. I didn't love myself. And it's like, I have to learn to love myself.
Changing the world one conversation at a time. This is Revelations. Discouragement, sorrow, distance. Your arguments cause damage to your family. The hurt leads to divorce. You feel like there is nowhere else to turn. But there is hope for you. That's where we come into play. There is an overcomer that lives inside of you. One ready to take on the world as you leap for joy, living in victory. You'll grow to love yourself and others. There's life after divorce, and you can claim it today. Get Over Divorce, where your new story begins here every Thursday on YouTube and Spreaker.
All right, y'all, back here on the lunch break. Unfortunately, wrapping it up here pretty soon. So let's go ahead and get to the bottom line in this. Somebody sent me a message about the quarterbacks. So just looking at this, Patrick Mahomes, again, his quarterback rating over 100 right now in the playoffs. He's completing 67% of his passes. He's thrown for over 5,200 yards this year, 41 touchdowns, and 12 INTs. But check this out. Jalen Hurts completing 67% of his passes. He's thrown for over 3,700 yards and has 22 touchdowns and only 6 INTs. You know, the person with the more likelihood of turning the ball over, Patrick Mahomes. Jalen Hurts just done turn it over a whole lot. That could be the difference in this game. That could be the difference of this game. And, oh, yeah, by the way, they've got 2 wide receivers over 1,000 yards, and 11 touchdowns by Brown, 7 touchdowns by Smith. Brown, 88 catches for 1,496 yards. Smith, 95 catches for 1,196. Let me tell you something. Anybody who doesn't think that Jalen Hurts can't throw the ball, anybody who thinks that Jalen Hurts can't throw the ball, just not watching. You don't want to know. You don't want to believe what you see. You want to have a yeah, but, and I can't wait to hear the yeah, buts if Philadelphia is able to pull this out. I'm going Philadelphia. Final score 27-24. 27-24. Philadelphia in this one. Field goal gets it done, and the Philadelphia Eagles win their first Super Bowl since they did the Philly special against Tom Brady now. Yeah. It should be interesting. That's what I'm going with. That's what I'm sticking with. Listen, don't forget now, if you are one of the 6 people still competing for the Lunch Break Weekly Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge, chance to win $500 in the playoff rounds, I got to have your picks by this Sunday at 4 o'clock Central. 4 o'clock Central. And heading into this game, the standings are Miss Pearl is number 1. And where is Miss Pearl? Hold on, let me boom. There we go. Miss Pearl is number 1 with 12 wins. Alexis is number 2 with 11. Amber, number 3 with 11. Erica with a K as number 4 with 11 wins. Al High is at number 5 with 11 wins. And Emmanuel, unfortunately, is out of it. He's still competing, but he does not have a chance to win it all. He's at number 6 with 9 wins. So Miss Pearl can wrap it up if she gets the Super Bowl right. Alexis, Amber, Erica, and Al High need Miss Pearl to get it wrong, and they need to come closer to the final score than she does for them to have a chance to win the $500 cash. So again, Miss Pearl, Alexis, Amber, Erica, Al High, and Emmanuel, please get me your picks by Sunday at 4 p.m. Central. Y'all know how to get them to me, all right? And y'all get ready for the March Madness Bracket Challenge that we do. You know, we do a lunch break Keeping Up with the Joneses Bracket Challenge during March Madness. Get ready for that because somebody's going to have a chance to win $500 cash in that as well. So that's what we got for right now. Again, on this day in Black history, we celebrate a kid from Akron, born December 30th, 1984, better known as LeBron Ramon James. And guess what? Now, the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. Man, brother, God bless you, man. I'm from Ohio, too. I ain't from Akron. I'm from Cincinnati, Forest Park. But, hey, listen, man, outstanding. As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I truly do love you. There's nothing you can do about it except meet me here tomorrow for Throwback Thursday, okay? Y'all take care. Here's Sybil Wilkes to take us on home.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Wednesday. It's Hump Day, folks. February 8th, 2023. Number 1. Although President Joe Biden has not not yet made the formal announcement regarding his re-election plans, it's a foregone conclusion that, he'll run again. One of the most surprising moves initiated by the president several weeks ago was voted upon by Democrats at the Democratic National Committee over the weekend. That's the upheaval of the 2024 Democratic primary schedule. The party confirmed the recently floated trial of changing election history and momentum by making South Carolina the first presidential primary state in 2024. Number 2, today, the What You Need to Know newsletter takes a look at African American composers in the classical music business. So there's Joseph Boulogne, Chevalier de Saint-Georges, dubbed Black Mozart, is remembered as the first classical composer of African origins. Born to a wealthy plantation owner and his African slave, Saint-Georges was a prolific composer who wrote string quartets, symphonies, and concertos in the late 18th century. There was also Florence Price, the first African-American woman to have her music performed by a major symphony orchestra in 1933. Born in Arkansas in 1887, Ms. Price was a deeply religious person and brought the music of the African American church into her music. Check out more in today's What You Need to Know newsletter. Number 3, federal appeals court judges closely questioned a Biden administration attorney Monday on the consequences military personnel might face for refusing COVID-19 vaccinations, even though the Biden vaccine mandate for military personnel, it's been rescinded. Lawyers for a group of Navy SEALs and other Navy personnel who refused to be vaccinated for religious reasons told a 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals panel that federal court injunctions against the mandate are still needed, in part because decisions on deployments and assignments can still be made based on vaccination status. Military leaders have long argued that to maintain unit health and troop readiness, troops have for decades been required to get as many as 17 vaccines, particularly those who are deploying overseas. Number 4, did you check out the Grammys Sunday night when Beyonce thanked the queer community while making Grammys history? After winning Best Dance Electronic Album, Beyonce now has more Grammys than any other artist. After thanking her parents, her husband, and her children, Queen Bee accordingly thanked the queer community for your love and for inventing the genre. Beyonce collaborated with notable queer artists such as Big Frida, Sid, Honey Dijon, T.S. Madison, Grace Jones, Kevin Aviance, Mike Q, Moi Renee, and so many more. Number 5, Mackenzie Barton and Deshauna Gamage have been missing from Palm Bay, Florida since January 31st and February 3rd, respectively. Mackenzie is biracial with brown hair and brown eyes. Deshauna is described as having black hair and brown eyes. Anyone with information on Mackenzie's and Deshauna's disappearance, please go to the Black and Missing Foundation website. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Forgiveness is the gift that you give to yourself to have peace. Ooh, bring it on. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with a man of the world, he truly is, Stephen Hill, comedian extraordinaire Myra J., and activist Quinn Townsend Riley, along with best-selling author Derek Barnes, as we discuss today's top headlines and more. To subscribe to my free daily What You Need to Know newsletter, please visit SibylWilkes.com. Be informed.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.